Good morning. Good morning. I'm Silas Costa, and I'm a member of the Coming of Age class. Welcome to the Coming of Age service. Today's worship team is mostly the Coming of Age class with a little help from Reverend David Messner, interim minister, Dawn Star Sarahs-Borchelt, director of Lifespan Faith Development, and Dr. Vincent Craig, music director. The Coming of Age class includes Travis Billichbach Soul, Danny Callahan, Cadence Capewell, Peyton Cunningham, Eva Heckelman, Kyle Jors, Graham Kokas, Day Sarahs-Borchelt, and Elise Walker. We are grateful to our youth advisors, Scott Turner, Sue Compton, and Nini Ingersoll, and our mentors, Don Walker, Leanne Rush, Jansen Wendell, Rich Fritzen, Roderick Wolfson, Jess Michael, Lauren Gard, Paul Costa, Barbara Welsh, and Liz Martin. My apologies if I butchered any of those names. And I'd also like to apologize if I messed up any of those names. That's my bad. Anyway, welcome to Mainline Unitarian Church. It's good to have you with us. We are Unitarian Universalists. Our denomination was formed by the merger of Unitarianism, which holds that God is one, and Universalism, which tells us that whatever our ultimate destiny may be, we will share in it equally together. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm religious freedom and celebrate diversity. We believe that all people are inherently worthy and dignified. Whoever you are, whomever your love, whatever your background or personal circumstance, you are welcome here. We gather in a loving community of faith to support one another as we search for meaning and purpose, working together to bring compassion, equity, and responsible stewardship to the world we share. An especially warm greeting to those of you who are visiting with us today. We're delighted you chose to come and hope you will find your experience here to be time well spent. After the service, we encourage visitors to help yourselves to coffee or tea and then join me and other MLUCers by the fireplace. We look forward to meeting you and welcoming you there. You'll also find more information about us at the welcome table in the lobby. Now please take a moment to silence your cell phones. So, let's talk announcements. There are a lot of events coming up at the church this week. Look for details in the order of service and on the church website. Next Sunday, there will be an Easter egg hunt for kids after the service, and the following week, there will be a Seder right here at church, so sign up soon. I have one very special announcement and one guest announcement. The special announcement is that our ministerial search committee has found a match, and we now know who our future minister will be. And I'm also not going to tell you who it is. Yay! So please stay in your seats at the end of the service, at which time the search committee and the board will fill us all in with that person's name and an introduction video. And now we have a guest announcement from Reverend Dave. And Reverend, please come on up.
That was the best ever. It was really good. So my time is almost done here. And it's come to this. No, I'm standing up to tell you that the pledge campaign is still rocking and rolling, and it's happening right now in the sanctuary. And what you all have done in the past month is extraordinary. It's not yet been a month. You know, we've gone 3 weeks, and we broke 500,000 this week. And that's extraordinary in 3 weeks, is it not? Thank you for what you've done. We have 100 pledges left to collect, and my dream for you, this isn't the most joyful part of ministry necessarily, but I want it to be, like, more joyful. And it's more joyful, I think, if it lasts 1 month each year and we have some fun with it. In that spirit, there was a ministerial raffle this week of various sacred items for those who pledged. I sent out an email. I said, pledge this week, and there are 3 prizes. And so I have 3 prizes, but we have to do the drawing. Each of you will get to pick a number between 1 and 34. 27. Ann Reed. Ann, are you with us here today? Thank you for your... Ann might be on... I think Ann might be on YouTube right now. Ann, thank you for your pledge. You've won one of these great prizes. We'll see which one in a minute. Next number. 10. Number 10, Carl Zwieben. Woo! Carl, are you here in the room today, or are you on YouTube? He's a YouTuber, isn't he? 2 YouTubers one day. You too have a prize. Now, let's see. Last one. 24. Jean Marie Baldwin. Here? Woo! Okay. Jean Marie, you get to choose 3 things. This is Kate Bowler's new book, The Lives We Actually Have, 100 Blessings. 100 Blessings for Imperfect Days. Or a string of lava stone prayer beads, right? Or, for purely sacramental purposes only, a really fine Rioja. There we go. Thank you all. If you could all pledge on the way out, we'll wrap it up in a month, and when your new minister gets here, he won't have to lay off the staff, which I think is a gift. Oh, no, that was heavy, right? That turned heavy, man. Oh, no. When the new minister gets here, he'll be excited with all the funding for new ministry activities in the coming year. Staff, you're okay. You're okay. Don't worry about it. And there are succulents still. There are still succulents. And I read in Nature this week, I don't know how many of you get Nature. Check it out. Plants scream. They emit noises, high-frequency noises, if they're thirsty, under distress, or they worry there haven't been enough pledges accumulated. Okay. Thank you all. Let me turn it over. I'm going to turn it over to Gary Gio, who's going to turn us to a more weighty note.
I resemble that.
Hold on. Okay.
Gary Gio is a good name for me because my real name is Gary Gehagen, and I've been coming here to MLUC with my wife Valerie, raise your hand, since 2017 and pledging religiously. And so why pledge here, you could say? And the clear and overwhelming reason is the people. We find you to all be kind and generous, curious and friendly. But don't get your heads too fat, because we found that at our past 2 Unitarian churches too, and we have projected that that's true for all Unitarians, that really there's no selfish people among us. And it makes it wonderful to come here and share with you. You teach me how to live, you share your lives, although sometimes it takes a while to hear it from you because people are so reluctant to brag about everything they're involved in. It's a good place to grow, to try new work, as we've done with the auction committee or my computer work, and our favorite is the community suppers that we offer at the auction, as well as a bunch of other committee work that we participate in. At church, we learn to never give up, to always keep our sights on the love that you can achieve, and also, to keep trying to improve the world. You can't give up on the world either. We know that democracy requires us to change the laws and to change the international institutions for all. There's other ways to change it more locally, but we don't forget that, and that's important to me. For spiritual life, this is a wonderful community. It's like other religions, it teaches us to get through the tragic times of life, the difficult times, but it goes beyond that and helped me become a meditator in a different church. But this church provided the Zoom meditations when COVID shut the rest of the things down, and the chats we had after service helped us to prevent the atrophy in our social lives during that time too. Again, very important to me. And we're not perfect. We can't save the world, but we can serve the world. We realize that we're called to address the racism, sexism, and also the ableism that we might forget. And we also have to remember all the time that our privilege doesn't come from just our own good works. When it comes to the end, this confused Buddhist is looking for a nice long rest out in the garden out there. Thanks for listening to me, and back to Reverend Dave. Thanks for pledging too.
wanted to take a moment, ask for the spot at the open of the service under the banner of invocation to invoke the spirit of practice for a better life. And the coming of age Sunday is my favorite because we get to hear these voices, and so our voices will be brief, or ish. Ish. Two practices in coming of age I want to attend to. One is the practice of taking stock of our lives as we move through the journey. Coming of age, we have in our tradition nailed it as a moment of change. Of course, most of us who've lived for 100 years or more have learned that it is one of a continuous flow of moments of continuous change and continuous growth. And what we are missing in our lives is not, I don't think, change and growth. That's happening. What we miss in our lives is the practice of stopping and taking stock and saying, look where we are right now. It's magnificent. Look what change and growth is happening right now. It's magnificent. We do that for each other, that magnificent part. For ourselves, I encourage us all to stop on this day as we receive and note how we ourselves are just now coming of age. In what way? What do you know to be true? What truth do you feel is becoming, yet you don't yet know? Is this a space we can come into with that vulnerability, that anticipation, and that curiosity? That's what I want. And that's what these folks are coming forward to model for us, to teach us how to engage in the spiritual practice of taking stock of who we are and what we are becoming. The second practice is the practice of, it's a pulpit practice a little bit. What do you do when you're given a pulpit? What do you do? What do you do with it? How do you choose to use your voice in the world? Are you shy with your voice? And you might look around the world and think that's not our number one problem. People don't seem to be shy with their voices. People are shouting at me on the street, sometimes literally. People are shouting at me on the internet. I don't know why I hang out there, but people don't seem shy. And I want to suggest today that we are being taught by this cohort what it means to stand up and use our voice in a very particular way to speak about the true, to speak about things that we've come to know in our heart are true. And as I say, they might just be leadings, they might be sparks, they might, be understood as through a glass darkly, right? So much of our life is. And yet, we stand up and share it with, I hope, the excitement when we run home to our family is I learned something today that's true and helpful. Let me share it. Yes, please do. That's the spirit I want. Let us use our voices to rush home to the people we love to share revelation with them. Revelation about what is good and what is beautiful and what is true. That's part of what we're doing here. So with that, let me conclude my briefish remark and turn it over to our colleagues with gratitude.
And now we will say our mission statement. Together, we transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith.
We light this chalice for equity, interdependence, divinity, and growth. Hi, my name is Day Eleanor Sarahs-Borchelt, and this is my credo. Interdependence is a very important... Sorry, they're out of order. One sec. Yeah, I know. Equity. What does equity mean for me? It means that I believe that although people may be born may be born with different resources due to financial status, race, and gender, we should give different people different resources to get them to the same point. Equality is like giving every runner the same size of shoe. Some pairs will fit well, others won't. That means some runners will probably do better in the race than others. Equity is providing shoes that fit each runner equally well. I do agree with the first principle that affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I believe that we're all inherently equal, but not necessarily given equal opportunities in life. Interdependence is a very important part of my spirituality. It means that I believe everything and everyone are connected and need each other. A theory I like to describe this is the butterfly effect. In a nutshell, this theory is that a flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil can have a huge effect like setting off a tornado in Texas. Although I don't believe it to be factually true that a flap of a butterfly's wings can set off a tornado, I do believe that we can and should apply this theory to our everyday lives. We can remember that even a very small action can have a very large impact on others' lives. Basically, I believe that there isn't one God that controls everything, but that the universe is watching over us, and if we do good for others, it'll come back around for us, and vice versa. I believe in divinity. I don't believe in a more traditional God, for example, a singular being or multiple beings, usually humanoid, that can punish and that are perfect. However, I do believe in God being in our daily lives. In a way, I believe that God is the gift of life. My most cherished memories are just being alive with family and friends, and in nature. One memory I consider to be a spiritual experience is from when I was very young at a family reunion, at a log cabin on the porch. It was raining and my aunts and uncles were playing music while my cousins and I were collecting water dripping off the roof with old bottles. It may sound strange for this to be a spiritual experience, but it really was. The only way I can describe it is everything in that moment felt perfect, like nothing could go wrong. It felt like there is no past or future, just present. What does growth mean spiritually for me? A way I like to explain it is I believe everything happens for a reason, good or bad, and that we can grow from these things, even if at the time things are too difficult to recognize it. In 2020, we got a pet snake from somebody in the neighborhood who couldn't take care of it. A couple days later, we noticed that the snake had a weird lump, so we did some research and thought we knew what it was. We gave him warm soaks that were supposed to help with the lump. After a week or two, it didn't get better, so we decided to take him to the vet. There was a lot of back and forth in between figuring out what it was, but in the end, it turned out that the lump was cancerous and couldn't be removed. So we had to put him down. At first, putting him down was really hard. It felt so unfair that we only got to have him for a month or two. Fast forward later on in 2020, our dog of 14 years' health was deteriorating. His back legs started to go out and he wasn't there mentally. He would spend the whole day pacing around and whining. He was only peaceful when he was asleep. We had to put him down on the 1st of 2021. It was very hard for our whole family, but having to put down our snake helped me learn coping skills for having an animal pass away. By the time our dog died, I could better deal with the loss of such an important part of our family. Even if at the time things are sometimes too difficult to recognize it, unfortunate events can help us grow later on in life. And I would like to thank my coming-of-age mentor and all of you for listening to my credo.
Come, let us enter this space of hope and community. Come, let us enter this space with our sorrows, our joys, our passion and compassion. Come, let us enter this space with the stories of our ancestors, for their strength and wisdom beats in our hearts. Come into this space present to the beloved companions who move beside us. Come into this space mindful that together we are building a future for other generations. Come into this space and let us worship. I will now read my credo. Hi, my name is Kyle. I'm 15 years old and I attend Conestoga High School. To be honest, I've had a hard time deciding what I want to say and whether I feel ready to share it in the service. I'm only 15 years old and I believe that I will be figuring out my answers to many questions for years and years to come. For some questions, I may never have the answer, and to me that's okay, because this aligns with the fourth Unitarian Universalist principle to search for truth and meaning. I know there are lots of different views and many religions in the world. I'm not sure if I will ever subscribe to one religion, but I feel most inclined towards Christianity due to my family history and traditions, like celebrating Christian holidays. My grandfather was a Lutheran minister, and I admire him because he was a faithful person who worked through a lot of his own big questions. I think he feels very strongly about his religion and faith, but is very open and accepting to other faiths. I admire that. At this point in my life, I believe in God, but that God may be seen in different ways by different religions. That is something I'm still thinking about. In the meantime, acceptance of all people is important to me. I believe that I don't need to figure it all out in order to be a good person, but religion can help you with the ideas that it can lay out for you about how to live in the world. I believe in doing the right thing, being kind to others, and many other characteristics that I'm also learning through participation in groups such as Scouts. I was not in Scouts in elementary school, mostly because I was involved in other things like soccer, piano, and art classes. But later I realized that lots of my friends were involved in it. My parents supported my interest in Scouts after some policy changes, such as changing their policy to allow LGBTQ individuals to participate in Scouts and doing a better job of protecting against child abuse. So I joined in middle school. Through Scouts, I'm learning new skills like leadership, how to be a good citizen in many ways. I believe many aspects of the Scout Oath, which states, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. I also admire the Scout law, which states a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. In closing, I may spend my whole life trying to figure out what I believe about religion, but I do believe in being a good person.
Please rise in body or in spirit to sing hymn number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Good morning. My name is Elise Walker, and I am a part of this year's Coming of Age class. This sculpture that you see under the trellis is a tree gifted to my grandfather who passed away a few years ago. I spent a lot of time looking at this tree and trying to figure out why my grandmother had kept it so long and why it sits in my dining room. It seemed like just a mass of entangled wires, but it clearly meant so much more to my family. This tree is more than it seems. It's a symbol of my grandfather and a symbol of life. Growing up, I was always struck by the outdoors. There was something fascinating about the way that one minuscule caterpillar could grow into a beautiful pollinator, or the process in which a pine cone could transform into a tree 80 feet above me. I never realized how significant these simple ideas of nature could be to me now. The ground that I walk on, the vegetables on my table, the wind that messes up my hair, are all a part of the beautiful thing that all of us are so fortunate to experience, life. I rarely reflected on my beliefs at that age, and I still didn't until this year. This class has given me the opportunity to contemplate these wonderful aspects of life and what I can make of the craziness that is being. I learned that you don't need to have the answer to be right. You don't need to have the answer to have a belief. Now I'm still learning about my beliefs, but if I know anything about myself, it is that I believe in the interconnections of life. Simply put, I'm not alone. A tree is not only a mass of carbon, but a wonderful symbol of life. Alone, it reveals the growth during a lifetime through its numerous rings that make a foundation of a trunk. Each mark and ridge and experience shaping this foundation and building up into the branches that hold us, our personality, and our originality. When I was 7, I was staying with my aunt for a week and having the time of my life. My cousin and I decided to go scootering. Little did I know that sidewalks are not all smooth and slender. Some, in fact, are the opposite. Completely oblivious to my surroundings, I fell face first into the sidewalk after going full speed, aka 3 miles an hour. I ran back to my aunt with a very bloody knee and tears in my eyes. She gave me a hug and told me, "You're going to be okay." In that moment, it didn't occur to me that these painful minutes don't last a lifetime. I can recover, grow from these experiences. I'm now proud to have a scar on my knee as a reminder of the beautiful mistakes I've made, my ability to recover, and the people that have helped me along the way. A forest doesn't consist of one tree, but many. They intertwine, communicate, share roots, support life, and connect with one another in a beautiful ecosystem. I am similar. The tiny seed that I once was has grown strong roots through support of my family, grown tall from my experiences, and widespread branches from the reinforcement in my school, church, and sport communities. When I was young, I would always complain about going to church services like this. I would think to myself, I could never do that. I don't understand. I'm hungry. Looking back, I now see how these religious roots gave me the 7 principles that shape my actions today. In this life of mystery and unpredictability, I can rely on one thing. I can remember that I have been given the roots, the structure, the sunlight to spread my branches and flourish in any ecosystem. I'm so grateful for the connections that have made me strong enough to not only survive or others support me, but I can support others. Thank you to my mentor, Liz Martin, and my family.
The Paper Bag Princess by Robert Munch. Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. She lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. She was going to marry a prince named Ronald. Unfortunately, a dragon smashed her castle, burned all her clothes with his fiery breath, and carried off Prince Ronald. Elizabeth decided to chase the dragon and get Ronald back. She looked everywhere for something to wear, but the only thing she could find that was not burnt was a paper bag. So she put on the paper bag and followed the dragon. He was easy to follow because he had left a trail of burnt forest and horse bones. Finally, Elizabeth came to a cave with a large door that had a huge knocker on it. She took hold of the knocker and banged the door. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Well, a princess. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I'm a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." He slammed the door so fast that Elizabeth almost got her nose caught. Elizabeth grabbed the knocker again and banged on the door again. The dragon stuck his nose out of the door and said, "Go away. I love to eat princesses, but I've already eaten a whole castle today. I'm a very busy dragon. Come back tomorrow." "Wait," shouted Elizabeth. "Is it true that you are the smartest and fiercest dragon in the whole world?" "Yes," said the dragon. "Is it true," said Elizabeth, "that you can burn up 10 forests with your fiery breath?" "Oh, yes," said the dragon, and he took a huge deep breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 50 forests. "Fantastic," said Elizabeth, and the dragon took another huge breath and breathed out so much fire that he burnt up 100 forests. "Magnificent," said Elizabeth, and the dragon took another huge breath, but this time nothing came out. The dragon didn't even have enough fire left to cook a meatball. Elizabeth said, "Dragon, is it true that you can fly around the whole world in just 10 seconds?" "Why, yes," said the dragon, and jumped up and flew all the way around the whole world in just 10 seconds. He was very tired when he got back, but Elizabeth shouted again, "Fantastic, do it again." So the dragon jumped up and flew around the whole world in just 20 seconds. When he got back, he was too tired to talk, and he lay down and went straight to sleep. Elizabeth whispered very softly, "Hey, dragon," but the dragon didn't move at all. She lifted the dragon's ear up and put her head right inside. She shouted as loud as she could, "Hey, dragon!" The dragon was so tired he didn't even move. Elizabeth walked right over the dragon and opened the door to the cave. There was Prince Ronald. He looked at her and said, "Elizabeth, you're a mess. You smell like ashes, your hair's all tangled, and you are wearing a dirty old paper bag. Come back to me when you're dressed like a real princess." "Ronald," said Elizabeth, "your clothes are really pretty, your hair is very neat, you look like a real prince, but you're a bum." They didn't get married after all. The end. My name is Eva, and this is my credo. My credo is about equality, and while equality is a fundamental human right that should be enjoyed by everyone regardless of their gender, race, or sexual orientation, in recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the importance of promoting equality for all individuals, regardless of their background. I have seen racial discrimination in modern day in the news, schools, and other public places. This has led to the implementation of various policies and initiatives aimed at addressing inequality and promoting diversity and inclusion. One of the key areas where equality is needed is in gender. As a young woman, I know historically faced discrimination and inequality in various areas of life, including education, employment, and politics. In recent years, there has been a push towards greater gender equality, which measures such as affirmative action and pay equity laws being implemented to address the pay gap and promote greater representation of women in leadership positions. Another area where equality is important is in relation to sexual orientation. LGBTQ+ individuals have faced discrimination and inequality in many areas of life, including employment, housing, and healthcare. There's been a growing recognition of the importance of promoting equality for LGBTQ+ individuals. Equality is also important in religion, and having the freedom to practice your own religion wherever and wherever. I believe that everyone is human and everyone is equal and should be treated so. Thank you.
The children can go to their classes. If you are in 5th to 7th grade, you don't have class, you're staying in here to watch the rest of the service. But if you're younger than that, you can go to class. I have Princess come up now and talk about our offering outreach partner for the week while you guys figure out what the sound problem is so we can hear Cadenson's credo in a few minutes. Princess, please come up and share with us.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I used to do, good morning. I used to do an agriculture program for a school, so I'm well-versed in technological difficulties, and the show must go on. Shout out to all teachers. You're doing amazing work. Thank you for my introduction. I am Princess Rahman, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you all for having us. Bethel Community Gardens / Ardmore Victory Gardens of Bethel AME Church of Ardmore was an idea first conceived by Reverend Carolyn Cavanis, congregation members, and a few other food power organizations. They wanted a space which promoted wellness and intergenerational learning as well as food sovereignty. So they created a space where people can come together and grow nutritious and culturally relevant food. The communities that we serve have historically been denied access to land, which unfortunately disrupted sort of the fulfillment of that critical relationship with food and culture. So now it's 2023, and it's been a little minute since 2017, and we have been up to amazing things. And I won't do all the talking unless the video is working. Oh, maybe I will do a couple more, few minutes of speaking. We have a home garden bed program, which I put under our impact of community because we have started and supported over 40 home garden beds in Ardmore. So we have residents who are actually able to start growing their own food at home. I think what is especially important about this program is that we don't just install garden beds and sort of leave that project for our residents. Part of the community building and part of sort of restoring that cycle and that relationship with food justice is going to be that continuing relationship through the process of growth. There are numerous parallels of growing food in your life. So us being able to retain that partnership with our community growers is just one of the many facets that Bethel Community Gardens is doing the work of food empowerment and food justice. Video, boom, and I'm out. Thank you.
Here in Lower Merion, which is one of the most affluent areas in the country, 10% of children in the Lower Merion School District, which is about 1,000, are on free and reduced lunch. What has been very important to our movement here at Bethel Ardmore has been putting food into people's hands. So there's nothing more powerful than you being able to grow your own food, grow what you want, being able to take what you would like, which is a different model than going to a food pantry, which, let's say, will give you a bag and you make the best of it. It's never too early to learn to grow, and you don't have to be an expert at it. It's trial and error. It's a little girl, she's going into 3rd grade. She lives around a corner from our church. And in fact, the other day she called and she said, Reverend Cece, I've got to go pick my basil. And so here's for a 3rd grader to take responsibility, and she went and picked it. and put it on her, dining room table, and had a conversation with her grandmother as to how, they could go about preserving it, putting it into a brown bag, chopping up so they could have it for later moments of, of cooking and being together.
I just feel that it is a good thing for everyone to get to know each other and grow food and have some kind of food security for the neighborhood.
Each of us plays a part in the care of nature, and I think that's the best takeaway that all of us can take, and this is what this experience to me has meant, taking care of Mother Nature and each other.
Time for our candles of concern this morning. We light a candle of congratulations for Celia Nielsen, who recently completed a successful run as star in the 5th grade production of the Lion King Junior musical at Radnor Elementary School. Celia, we hold you in our hearts. We light a candle of concern for Sarah Kokas, who is recovering from surgery to repair her shoulder, which she broke after falling this week. Sarah, we hold you and your family in our hearts. Our loving thoughts are with Irene and William Mennert and family. Bill has entered hospice care and is at Accelerate Center in Exton. Irene and Bill and your whole family, we hold you in our hearts. We light a candle of concern for Kevin Blagan, who's been diagnosed with lymphoma and is beginning treatment, and his wife, Liz. Kevin and Liz, we hold you in our hearts. We light this candle for the Transgender Day of Visibility last Friday. When trans and non-binary people tell us who you are, we believe you and celebrate your full humanity. The last two candles are candles of joy, and they come from things I asked the parents and mentors of our coming-of-age youth to write. It's not what any individual person wrote. I sort of compiled them. And the first is a candle of joy for all the things that we admire about our coming-of-age youth, that we love about them, that we respect about them. We love that you take coaching well, your creativity and varied interests, good writing skills, and willingness to listen. We admire that you are comfortable disagreeing, your persistence and thoughtfulness, and the way you are service-oriented. We love your sense of humor and keen wit, the way you always find a way to laugh and make us laugh. We respect that you are mature beyond your years and have a willingness to try new things. We admire your openness, curiosity, confidence, and self-assurance. We love your independence, your taste in music, and your determination. We respect that you are serious and disciplined, that some of you do your homework without being asked, and are compassionate and caring. Most of this applies to everyone, but we admire how much you love animals and how you take care of them. We love that you still give us hugs and how you bring the energy up in a room and give off rainbows and sunshine. We admire how you can get people dancing, make plans, and say yes to life. We respect your willingness to try new things, your unique perspectives, enthusiasm, and passion. We love your kindness, gentleness, and compassion, tenacity, and enthusiasm for adventure. We admire your inquisitive nature, caregiving abilities, and eagerness to grapple with politics, religion, and ideology. We respect your honesty, independence, and resolve, and how you can find the funny side in almost anything. We love your ability to make connections, stay curious about how things work, and teach others calmly and patiently. We admire your sense of space and sense of time, your warm intelligence, and how you live your UU values. We respect how you volunteer, live out your belief in the importance of individual actions to change the world, and make great food. We love your insightfulness, joy, friendliness, strength, smartness, and hard work. We admire your artist's soul, your ability to focus on a task or a project, and how you work together to accomplish something or just have fun. We respect how deeply you love. We love you. And our final candle is a candle of joy for all the things that the parents and mentors of our coming-of-age youth wish and hope for them. We hope you stay connected to your church friends, that your credo reading goes smoothly or just did, and that you continue to get enjoyment and satisfaction from everything you do. Continue to search for answers and come to accept and embrace that progress on a spiritual journey is not always linear. Stay open to the lessons offered by the world's many religions and be a good person. We hope you keep open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. Follow your authentic self wherever it leads you. Share your unvarnished thoughts and surround yourself with community. We hope that you do the things that bring you joy. Be confident and follow your dreams. Stay curious. Remember that you are loved unconditionally. We hope you will always show kindness, stay open to what the world has to offer, and have fun. Keep doing your homework in life. Be compassionate for others. Be kind, contribute to the kindness of the world, and have compassion for yourself. We hope you will remember that there is always time for a hug, to find happiness and love, and to dream big. Say yes to opportunities, but also know when to say no. Trust yourself to be the expert in your own life. Listen to your inner voice. We hope you will be yourselves, find purpose that is fulfilling, and grow in your passions. Find your niche. Share your gifts and passions. Find peace on your spiritual journey. We hope you will always be part of a caring group of friends, have work that has meaning and purpose, and have many moments of awe and wonder. Reflect on your beliefs. Belief in the goodness of humanity. Remember that you have everything you need. We hope you will grow in your social consciousness and passion for the community and the environment, that you get faster and stronger and build your self-confidence. We wish you good friends and being part of a wonderful family. We hope you are content, have connection, and have the freedom to grow and branch out. We wish you peace, community that sees and supports you, balance, and serenity. We hope you become parents if you want that, and that you never live too far away to visit. We hope you love yourself and others.
Good morning again. So good news. I thought I lost my credo and I just found it. So, starting off pretty strong. All right. When I was young, coming to church seemed like a loathsome, tedious chore that just had to get done every week. I remember my routine. I would sit through what felt like hours of service before finally escaping to the playground, building a racetrack, and finally leaving and getting lunch at Brugger's. I hated it. But it was how it was. And then, all of a sudden, over 10 years passed. Now as I'm standing here and as I was writing this credo, I'm realizing that I still have a lot of the same feelings about coming to church, mixed with the guilt of knowing that this is a good experience for me, but being bored by it nonetheless. But mostly, I'm nagged by the idea that here I have to think. At school and in life, I'm told a lot of things. How a certain rule works in geometry, when a certain assignment is due, what I have to do at practice, things like that. But at church, I have to think for myself. Beliefs are not told to me or forced upon me, and as strange as it sounds, I sometimes wish that they were. To me, religion and spirituality should be something to fall back on, a stability that answers questions and provides comfort and reassurance. But here, religion is a way to look more deeply into oneself, and rather than answering questions, it demands more queries. To me, that just seems unnatural and not comforting. That said, UU beliefs are still and will probably always be my core principles. I think that the 8 principles should be a way of life, even if I don't think of them as a connection to the divine or spiritual. No matter what religious path I should choose in the future, my experiences at this church and the core beliefs of Unitarian Universalism will always stick with me and guide me. For example, growing up as a UU has really given me a strong respect for all people. One of the experiences in particular I've had at church that has strengthened this principle is the Crossing Paths program. If you aren't familiar, this RE curriculum educates youth about the world's religions and also has a focus on connecting students with people who practice the faiths that they are learning about. This was an impactful experience for me because it really humanized a lot of religions that I had previously only really heard about in abstract. Before that class, I had read books and watched movies about people of other religions, but I'd never really sat down and talked to someone of another faith other than Christianity or Judaism about their religious beliefs and practices. I think that this class really strengthened my ability to do that and to understand people regardless of their identity. To compare, I have a friend who was raised as a very devout Christian. She doesn't really practice her religion anymore, but she still is a little bit reluctant to accept other religions, presumably because she was taught that Christianity was the only true religion or connection to God. But being raised at UU, I think, has taught me to respect people of all identities. This is just one example of a way UU beliefs and practices have made me who I am as a person and have shaped who I will be in the future. So now, here I am, caught in between my childhood and my adulthood, my beliefs as a person and as a congregant. I don't know what path I'm going to take now or in the future. Maybe I'll find a different church that I feel a connection to. Maybe I'll stay here, or maybe I'll stop coming to church altogether. I really don't know what's going to happen, but for now, I'm okay with that. Now I'm ready to take time to decide what I want and what's right for me. Before I wrap up, I want to extend a huge thank you to my amazing mentor, Don Walker, for helping me along the way of writing this credo, and also to Scott Turner and all of the other COA teachers for putting up with a bunch of angsty teens, myself included. And finally, thank you to my parents and brother for being so incredibly supportive and kind. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Graham Kokas, and I'm here today to talk about my journey with rowing. Before I started rowing, I never thought of myself as an athlete. I played soccer and flag football for fun, but never took practicing or training seriously. When I started rowing, I learned that training hard is absolutely essential to performing well, and that if I really wanted to be the best, I had to put in the effort. Rowing is a demanding sport that requires mental toughness in addition to physical strength and fitness. It taught me the importance of discipline, having a good work ethic, and showed me that if I truly wanted to be the best, I had to put in the effort. But rowing is more than just an individual sport. It's also about being a part of the team. When I joined my school's team, I was able to feel like part of a community, and for the first time, I had a sense of belonging with my peers. Once I felt I had skills to truly contribute to the team, I really felt that sense of belonging. Rowing is a very expensive sport, and I'm extremely fortunate to have the opportunity to participate. My family has a history of rowers, and the connections that they provided were another big advantage for me. I believe that more people should have the chance to experience the fulfillment, sense of purpose, and connection with nature that being out on the water that I have enjoyed, which is why I'm going to volunteer this summer for a program in Philadelphia that teaches kids how to row for free. In conclusion, I have grown a lot with rowing. It has shown me that if I want something, I have to work hard for it, and that nobody is going to give it to me. I also gained a sense of purpose and community from rowing, which I believe should be available to everyone. My experience with rowing has given me a sense of how I want to lead my life. So, in today's world, there is so much sadness and tragedy. We just really need some happiness, some more happiness in our lives. So, in honor of April Fool's Day, please rise in body or in spirit, because we are going to sing Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly.
shadow. All right. Let's test the video now.
Hi, my name is Danny Callahan, and this is my credo. So my story is about me, my concerns, my goals, and my friends. And other people's stories are about them, their concerns, their friends, and their goals and problems. Stories could be similar, but we will have our differences because we're not the same people. For example, I am in Boy Scouts, which is where I learned how important these values are. To be courteous, because that is what people expect of you, and it will help you make friends. To be helpful is good, because helping people is kind, and it will make them feel better, and it will make you feel better. To protect and preserve the environment, because it is everything around us, and it is where we live. So if we destroy it, then we are all going to die, because that's how life is. The principle that I relate most strongly to is the first principle, which is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Because, yeah. So I don't think that any sacred or divine things control everything, which is why I believe that everything just happens with or without reason sometimes. And because I am a good person, I will try to set and follow good examples so that the world will become a better place.
This should be the benediction.
Good morning. My name is Sarahs-Borchelt, and I have had the awesome privilege to reflect and now share my beliefs with you today. When I think about my beliefs in Unitarian Universalism, the fourth principle sticks out to me. The fourth principle states that everyone should have a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. As a 14-year-old, I am still searching for truth and meaning in my life. Two of the most important truths in my life are that it is always good to be kind, and trying hard leads to improvement.
Doesn't work, just say so.
Being kind or performing small acts of goodness are key to good relationships with people, and choosing good friends and being kind to them can lead to a better life. Furthermore, if you are kind to someone, they will likely be kind back to you. Some of the kindest people / role models in my life are my band director, my French teacher, and my Odyssey of Mind coach. My band director, Mr. Hess, is super kind, and he has helped me for over 2 years now. He has put in tons of time to help me through marching band, pops band, and concert band. He has also answered my numerous musical questions, leading to a better understanding of music on my behalf. My French teacher, Madam Simmons, is super kind and has put in extra time to help me advance beyond the 8th grade curriculum. Lastly, Odyssey of the Mind is a club comprised of a 7-person team who writes a skit, makes a vehicle, costumes, and props. My Odyssey of the Mind coach, Miss Duffy, has supported me during the last 4 years, helping me put my dreams into words and helping me build all kinds of things. I try to follow their examples by being kind, helping younger drummers, tutoring in French, and teaching kids new to Odyssey how to build things. Next, trying hard and practicing is very important. It has led me to become a better drummer and a better student. The meaning of life for now, for me, is to enjoy it and work hard in school and my extracurriculars so I can pursue my dreams in the future. Aside from schoolwork, I spend most of my time practicing drum set and also building things for Odyssey of the Mind. Also, I've come to understand the world through a more scientific approach, so I don't have any traditional religious beliefs. I believe in science for pretty much everything, so I do not believe in heaven or hell. When your body dies, so does your brain after a little while. One thing that I've thought about is life as a simulation. We could all just be in a celestial being's lab experiment, and we are their lab rats. It is still a little far out, but it's fun to think about. Also, I don't believe in reincarnation. Sure, people will remember you, but I don't think we will come back as one of those people or an animal. Throughout this class, I have thought about my beliefs thoroughly, and I have come to conclude that I have a scientific interpretation of the world, and I believe that kindness and hard work are key to a good life. Thank you.
privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. My vision of ministry clear, brighten my pathway with radiance here. Me glory with all who will share. For the planet, transform my heart.
Hi, I'm Peyton, and I'm part of this coming of age group. I believe life is a journey, and the choices you make throughout your day can affect it greatly, ever so slightly. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and that even in difficult times, there is always a purpose and lesson to be learned. I trust that the challenges and obstacles that I face are opportunities for growth and learning. The concept of karma emphasizes the idea that we are responsible for our own lives, and that our actions have consequences that shape our present and future. I believe that karma is not just limited to our individual actions, as it also takes into account the intentions behind my actions and the effects they have on others. This belief encourages me to be mindful and to strive for positive actions that benefit the people around me. Reincarnation is often tied to the idea of karma, which holds a person's actions in their current life will affect them in their future lives. I believe that after time on earth, we will go into the afterlife. I believe that in the afterlife, we will be reincarnated as a continuation of our existence beyond physical death, and that our actions in this life determine our fate and personality in the next. I believe that after a person dies, their soul or spirit will be reborn to a new body, allowing the individual to continue their spiritual journey. The cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continues until the individual achieves their highest power. I choose to have faith in the universe as it's always watching over me, guiding me, and providing me with opportunities and experiences that I need to grow and thrive from. I trust that the universe is constantly guiding me towards my highest good and protecting me from harm. I know that I'm never alone and that the universe is always with me, providing me with support, guidance, and protection that I need to live a fulfilling and purposeful life. I'm always grateful for the universe's love and care. Time for the benediction.
All right, you want to give it another try? Is that what you want to do?
Hello, MLUC congregation. My name is Cadence Capel, and I'm here to share my credo that I created during my coming of age session here at MLUC. To start, I believe in the 8 principles of Unitarian Universalism. I also believe that the 6th and 7th principles are connected. As a refresher, the 6th principle refers to the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And closely related is our 7th principle, which states respect for the interdependent web of which we are a part. For my coming of age credo, I'm going to share my beliefs and ideas about these 2 principles and how they are connected. First, for the 6th principle, I can share the ways that my family has contributed to our local community. As you may already know, MLUC hosts families in our building in order to help parents who are gaining skills to become employed and find houses. My family and I have been involved with the Family Promise program and have come over during the evenings to play with the kids and stay overnight in the church. After one of our play sessions, the girl we were playing with told her mom that this was the best day ever. I can't imagine what that family is going through, and it was really special to hear her say that. Another example of my family's contributions to our community is volunteering at Kids Against Hunger. Kids Against Hunger is a non-profit organization that packs meals and sends them to families in need. Last summer, my family, all 6 of us, committed to 100 hours of service. We volunteered about 50 times throughout the summer and racked up the hours. I think that it was really important for us to do this in order to help our community, as well as the organization's leader, Heather, who is struggling with costs of the food and delivery. It was really challenging for us, but we managed to do it, and we are extremely proud of our accomplishment. I believe that focusing on influencing a world with peace, liberty, and justice for all is important. In addition, I believe that volunteering your time in your local community is an excellent way to connect to your UU values. My support of the seventh principle is demonstrated by my passion for environmental science and activism. I believe that the only way that we, as humans, can combat climate change, save endangered species, tackle the enormous amount of waste in our world, and much, much more, is to create a community of people who are all on the same page. We can't truly do these things until we create a world with peace, liberty, and justice for all, as the sixth principle refers to. Again, the seventh principle states respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. I believe that this principle encourages human beings to think before they act, to be more responsible, to realize that your individual actions are like only one stone that can lead to a landslide. I believe this means that your actions have greater importance than you may think, and that everyone's actions can create drastic effects when put together. As you may be able to tell, I am very interested in environmental science and activism. As of now, I'm hoping to go into something of that nature when I grow up. Environmental issues are really important to me, and that is why I made this connection, because I want to help solve them. In conclusion, I believe that big things can only happen when every single person is truly on board. And in order to do that, we need to create a safe, welcoming world for everyone. Thank you.
Shorter.
Today's benediction is submitted by this day. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We may be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in the future that is not known. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
In spite of what we went through. Please be seated.